Today you're going to be working on learning how to do a mail merge. I've got some good instructions at the bottom of this web page on how to do just that. But by now you've probably noticed this section that is titled Full Context on Why Mail Merges Are Fantastic. Yes, you're getting a quiz. Oh, you know I love quizzes. But I tell you what, I'm going to give the vast majority of the answers in this video. You could always go back to the text as well, but make sure that you listen very carefully to this video. Now let's take a look at the text. The title here is A Brief History of Popular Marketing, 1900 to Today, and you have this broken down by decades. What was marketing like here, 1920 to 1930, then it goes 1930 to 1940, and so on. And if you hover over these, you get a description. You could also click on it, and you'll see the image up close. You'll see the description here too. Give it some time, not too much time. And later on, scroll down, when video marketing became popular, you could click on any of these.
Hey, just got to the polling
Hopefully you don't get an ad like I just did.
I'd like to buy
And you could see the actual advertisements. All right, that's enough, lady. Now, what do I want you to get out of this? For the longest time, advertisers were dying to individualize the marketing message, but they didn't know how to. As in, the technology did not exist. Like, let's look at this. Marketing in the early 1900s was primarily print-based and relied heavily on newspapers, magazines, and posters to reach audiences. So let's take a look at New York City in 1900, and remember, this was a huge population center in the United States. I see, oh look, there's a horse! And they used to call cars non-horse-drawn carriages. Oh wait, look, there is a trolley car. What, a horse is pulling it? These are the streets of Manhattan, so there were rails in the street, and you would see this great thing coming down the street. That's how people would transport themselves. Outside of New York, if you owned a car, you were very wealthy. And the roads themselves, they were made of dirt. Look at the dirt being blown up on the roads. Look at that shaky thing. That was a car back in the day. Businesses were very regional. It really was Sears, which was the first one that stretched across the country. Hope you remember the lesson on that one. But here's what I want you to remember about print advertising in the early 20th century. Print advertising was around in the early 20th century and before, and it is very possible to individualize the message in print advertising. You're going to do that today. But it was impossible to do that in the early 20th century. Businesses did not know enough about their customers. They just took a shot in the dark on whether their product would sell. Okay, let's skip ahead to the 1920s and this brand new technology, radio. I'm going to quickly read you an excerpt from what was marketing like in the years 1920 to 1930, and I believe this is repeated in 1930 to 1940. Radio emerged as a powerful new medium, allowing advertisers to reach audiences in their homes, while print ads in magazines and newspapers focused heavily on lifestyle aspirations, beauty, and convenience. Now, I know that it is tough to imagine in an age that we're so connected, but in the 1920s, this was a new concept. There was this talking box that would give you baseball scores. You could listen to the game. Baseball was huge in the era, as was its biggest star, Babe Ruth. Granted, this was a print advertisement right here, but this guy here was absolutely huge. It made people want to listen to the radio. Then they started getting news, and you would throw some advertisements in there.
Message from our sponsors. Ladies, tired of laboriously picking smag out of your expensive self-earned carpets because your same old vacuum's not doing its job? Then try our new Suction 3000.
It was advertising to the masses. But again, these ads were not personalized. They were to the masses. And then that brings us to something you might have heard of. I know your generation doesn't like it as much as my generation, but television. Television was huge. All of the effects that radio had were amplified with television because you could hear it and you could see it.
While you won't feel it for minutes, right now relief is racing, racing, racing to your headache. So quickly that in the short time it takes you to kiss a baby, in just 22 seconds to be exact, 22 seconds after Anacin is in your bloodstream, it's already starting to work on your headache. Fast, sure, but speed isn't much without strength. Today's Anacin gives you more of the pain reliever doctors prescribe most. More of it than an aspirin, or an aspirin with buffering, or the other extra strength tablet. That's how strong Anacin is. When you need strong, fast headache relief, reach for help. Reach for Anacin.
That was an example of a popular, groundbreaking commercial that did appeal to the masses. Most of y'all would have swiped up, though. Swiping up, it's the equivalent of, to that generation, changing the channel. But for every single person in this room and every single person in the world, there's a product out there that you would not swipe up. And we're going to skip far ahead in this article that I gave to you about marketing today. But remember when you read this, when you see the perfect product on your phone, you don't swipe up, you click on it, you go to it. Marketing today is a complex, data-rich field that relies on digital and personalized strategies to reach consumers in ways unimaginable in the early 20th century. With smartphones, artificial intelligence, and social media, marketers have powerful tools to track, analyze, and predict consumer behaviors in real time. Unlike in 1900, when marketing relied primarily on newspapers, billboards, and direct mail, today's marketing landscape is centered around digital channels, offering global reach and sophisticated targeting capabilities. What does it all mean? Well, it goes back to the marketing concept. The marketing concept is using the needs of customers as the primary focus during the planning, production, pricing, distribution, and promotion of a product or service. That is bloody phenomenal. Tell me more. Well, how do you identify the needs of customers? Maybe a device like a phone listens to you. Nowadays, it does. If you have an app open, chances are it's listening to you and it is selling that information. That's how those free apps make money, selling that information to companies that potentially might sell you products. And it's not just phones. Google Chrome, which I'm using right now. Let's see, delete browsing data, delete history, cookies, cache, and more. As you browse the internet, you get data collected on you. And the combination with the listening data from stuff like Alexa, Amazon, or even your phone apps, the combination, advertisers know a lot about you today. To a certain extent, I do that too on my website. I've got 3,287 contacts as of today. Anytime that there is a new product that comes out, I go through my sales list and I also go through my contact list. I let people know that there's a new product out via email, and I also make a video about that on my YouTube channel. When people sign up to be a part of your website, you're not going to send them spam mail. It doesn't become spam mail. It goes right into their email folder because they want it to. Now, you have a quiz that you have to take first, but what we're going to do today is individualize messages through mail merge.